Welcome to a brand new movie franchise ranking video here at Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinenberg, and with the release of Tron Ares this past Friday, it's time to stop and rank all three entries into the 40-year-old plus franchise. So welcome back, everyone, to another video on Max Talks Movies. If you're new to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, out-of-theater reactions. Every Monday, I break down the box office. I also do these movie franchise videos a lot, so please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new. Comment down below, what are your guys' thoughts on the Tron franchise? What is your ranking of all three Tron movies? And also, with Tron Ares not doing so well, when do you think we will get the next entry into the Tron franchise? And also, guys, without further ado, also please hit that thumbs up button. So, I'm going to say two things before I get into this full-on ranking video here. Firstly, obviously I'm going to talk about Tron Ares again. If you want a longer forum video about my thoughts on the movie, I have done an out-of-theater reaction and a full movie review on that movie. So I'm not going to go into as much detail as that review. So I'm trying to talk about the other two movies a little bit more because I haven't talked about them on this channel. But also to check out my Tron Ares review. And then some background. I am someone who grew up watching as a kid the Tron films. For some reason, I do remember seeing Tron Legacy in theaters, which came out in 2010, which means I was 7 or 8 years old when that film came out. And it's not a franchise that I've gone back to, honestly, recently, but I did rewatch the first two films leading into Tron Ares. I'm a much bigger fan now of the franchise after rewatching these movies in a row. So I'm very excited to get into my full ranking, guys, on these movies. Without further ado, let's get started. Starting at number 3 for me, guys, is Tron Ares, the newest entry into the Tron franchise. And I think this is a film that's, I think, being too harshly crapped on by fans and critics. Do I think that this is a great Tron movie? No. But I think this is kind of the Tron experience I think most people should be wanting in a Tron film. What I mean by that is we are finally in a period of time where the technology, where we are with visual effects, have come such a long way since the original Tron film. This movie is a jaw-dropping masterpiece as pertains to not masterpiece, but a jaw-dropping film as pertains to visuals, special effects, score, and just the look and feel of this movie. It is a joy to watch. Now, again, are the characters that good here? Not really. I didn't really care about any of the characters in the movie. There's some really good actors in this movie that I like. I think Jodie Turner-Smith was, I think, the main standout for me, playing the character of Athena, who kind of takes over things in the grid when Ares tries to, begins his journey in the movie. And as I said, the Nine Inch Nails score is amazing. I just think it's a fun time in the movies. I saw it in 3D, and I had a really good time watching it in 3D. The sound was great, but also obviously all these things are coming at me, and these things that looked so dated back in 1982 could have not looked better in the present. But yes, I think this movie has brought back some interesting lore into the franchise where it does connect to both Legacy and the first Tron movie. But there's times where they sometimes pick and choose what parts of the Tron franchise they want to use instead of just continuing on where we've been since Tron Legacy. But this movie tries to kind of cop out of some big character moments from Tron Legacy, but also try to set more things up based on the effects of Tron Legacy. Very weird decisions. And again, I'm not a big Jared Leto fan, and him being like the lead of this movie just didn't hook me. You can tell where his character was going from the moment he gets introduced into the movie. And I think this is the least interesting set of characters I think we've had in the franchise thus far. So Tron Ares, for me, comes in at number 3. Coming in number 2 for me is the movie that started it all, 1982's Tron. Now, again, I watched this as a kid, didn't think it looked the greatest. Now watching it in 2025, this is definitely a movie way ahead of its time. And that's both on a world building mode, but it's also on on a world building mode, lore mode, and I guess the way it wants to handle technology. Because at the time in 1982, The technology that is required to make a movie like this just wasn't there for the original Tron film. But even when you rewatch it, now again, maybe if you just started watching the Tron movies to get ready for Tron Ares, and this is the first time you watch Tron 1, so you don't really have that nostalgia for it. I don't know if you have to be a kid for it, or again, I didn't grow up in the 80s. Obviously, I grew up in the very early 2000s. So I still thought it was dated. There's such a charm that I guess I can't explain what the first Tron movie is. It's a film that really does set up its world so well. I enjoy the dynamic between Jeff Bridges as Flynn as well as Brew Boxleitner as Tron or Alan Bradley in the real world. Their dynamic is a very interesting one. It's always amazing to really see how young Jeff Bridges is in this movie. And I think out of all of the three films, this is the film where Tron himself is a key part of the movie. I think this franchise has kind of lost itself at times because the movies are called Tron. You kind of need the Tron character in the movie. And obviously in Legacy, you get a cameo of Tron, but it's mostly scenes with Alan in the real world. And obviously Ares doesn't even bring up Tron whatsoever. Here, Tron is an essential part of the film. He's the code that will save this grid from being taken over by this very evil, I guess, AI. Jeff Bridges is very good. The whole cast is good still. These are not great characters. There are not great character moments here. And the movie is extremely dated. But for me, there's such a charm, whimsical feeling watching this movie. The ideas also really play well in 2025. See how far we've come in society and what we think of technology now. Looking back at what the people in the 1980s thought of technology. There's really fascinating ideologies here. But this movie doesn't go all the way. You're not really emotionally invested in too many of the characters. But for me, I still have a very good time with the original Tron. But for me, number one is easily Tron Legacy. I think this is really a excellent Tron film. And yes, is the worst part of this movie the Jeff Bridges de-aging? Yes. Now, when he's Clue, they could have easily explained why his character looks like a video game character, but in the opening scene where they have, the de-aging scene of Jeff Bridges talking to his young son, he looks like a video game cutscene character from the early 2000s. And yes, it pulls you out of the movie. And while these characters for me are a lot more interesting, I think what makes this work is that it does have a simple story that you can finally get emotionally invested in this franchise, which is the father-son dynamic between Sam and Kevin Flynn. Father goes missing, Sam goes into his whole life, gets into the grid, learns what happened to his father, wants to get his father out. It's a very simple, formulaic story, fits this franchise very well. Obviously Flynn set up so much stuff in the 80s, and we see years later when he goes into the grid how much has lost and the companies have changed with, a young Dillinger in the movie where you have Cillian Murphy playing the son of the Dillinger in the first film. We have also Olivia Wilde plays one of the maybe the most interesting character on the page of the whole franchise as Cora, someone who was not made by a user, someone who just dropped in the grid from some godly creation. And as someone who is not religious whatsoever, I found actually the religious tones to work, and it makes you think a lot more about the overall franchise. Garrett Hedlund, I thought, was really solid in the leading role. It was great that Jeff Bridges wasn't just a cameo, he's a focal point of this film. And Clue being the villain also makes a lot of sense. They didn't execute the look of Clue very well, but from a story level, it works a lot more. The Daft Punk score is one of the best movie scores of all time, meaning because some movie scores are just great on their own. This movie fits Tron Legacy like a glove. And it's really hard to say a lot of time when movie scores really fit a film like this. And Daft Punk's score really does. Also, you have the director Joseph Kosinski, who directed this movie. This before he did Top Gun Maverick and F1. And it just feels like a more epic, bigger version than what they were going for in 1982. So many times when sequels are delayed by that many years, you just don't feel either the passion for the franchise or they kind of want to do a whole new thing. This was the perfect balance to me of the love and the appreciation and the homages to the original film while also making it feel bigger, grander, looking better. more intellectual themes. And that's why, for me, Tron Legacy easily comes in at number two. And that's what number one. And that's also why I wish we got a proper follow-up to the ending of Tron Legacy than going with a completely different set of characters for Tron Ares. So, guys, what are your thoughts on my ranking of the Tron franchise? This feels like it's a very similar ranking to most people. But what is your ranking? Did Tron Ares make it to number one, or do you agree with me? Is Tron Legacy your favorite entry in the Tron franchise? Let me know down in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in another video very soon.